Watch how Prime Minister's questions erupts into a fierce Commons row after Kemi Badenoch's criticism of the Education Secretary sparks angry protests from Labour MPs and complaints to the Speaker. What began as political debate quickly became a heated argument over language, respect and accountability in Parliament. Before we continue, hit like and subscribe to Britain Daily for more explosive political coverage. Let's watch this explosive clip.
Mr. Speaker, to be fair, they're not all traitors and deserters. Some of his cabinet have been loyal and incompetent. Hands up if you think the Education Secretary is doing a good job. Even she doesn't think she's doing a good job, Mr. Speaker. Even she doesn't think she's doing a good job. Someone did. Just for those who raised their hands, the two people who raised their hands, yesterday a poll found that 0% of teachers think the Education Secretary is doing a good job. 0%. It turns out appointing a spiteful class warrior as Education Secretary was a disaster. Does the Prime Minister agree that he has been let down by her incompetence?
The Education Secretary grew up in poverty. She knows exactly what it means to grow up in poverty. She was once reluctant to tell her story. I know her story. It's an incredible story of social mobility and success.
Mr. Speaker, the fact is that if she knew so much about poor children, she wouldn't have given them fewer teachers. Teacher numbers have gone down. It's amazing. I've never seen this much excitement on the Labour benches. Yes, cheering so loudly while there are 400 knives stuck in his back. Shame on them.
That is the end of the statement. Point of order, Tulip Sadiq.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. During Prime Minister's questions today, the Leader of the Opposition called the Secretary of State for Education a spiteful class warrior, and previously she's compared the Secretary of State for Education to a Gestapo officer. Could I ask your advice on whether the language that was used by the Leader of the Opposition today towards the Secretary of State for Education, who is a woman who grew up in poverty, she grew up in a council estate, raised by a single mother, on free school meals, and worked her way up to cabinet, is appropriate language to be used in the chamber? And I ask you, Madam Deputy Speaker, because not only does this language contribute to hostility, it also puts off women from coming into this very important profession.
I thank the Honourable Member, the Honourable Lady, for her point of order. Honourable members are responsible for what they say in the chamber. We do not write the scripts for colleagues. Erskine May says that good temper and moderation are the characteristics of parliamentary language, and I remind all members and that's the way they should be conducting themselves inside the chamber. Point of order, Nick Timothy.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and the House may be interested in this following the earlier point of order. Earlier today, the Education Secretary accused me of racism in reference to comments I made about the mass Muslim prayer in Trafalgar Square. While she didn't inform me that she would mention me in the chamber, I gave her advance notice for this point of order, but she's chosen not to come to the House to withdraw her remarks. Given past precedent, I would like your advice on whether this is acceptable language for one member to use about another. I also seek your guidance about the free speech of members and those we represent. The government's Islamophobia definition is already being used to shut down legitimate debate over questions of religion, belief and public policy, as we warned it would be, and it falsely equates religious identity and racial identity and religious belief. It is an Orwellian outrage. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, how do I ensure the Education Secretary withdraws her remarks, explains how she confused racial identity and religious belief, and apologise?
The Honourable Member has got his point on the record, and as I've already said, members must take responsibility for what they say in the chamber. And good temper and moderation, of course, Mr Snowden, on both sides, are good characteristics of parliamentary language. He's got his point on the record. Let's see what happens next.
Katie Lamb.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
We're moving on.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Tomorrow, the Conservatives were going to ask for Parliament to sit one more working day, so the new Prime Minister could come here and set out his agenda for the country, which we could then scrutinise on behalf of all of the people that we represent. Instead, there will be a general debate, which, no matter what the topic, can have no actionable outcome, and we will have no chance to scrutinise the Prime Minister's plans for a month and a half. I asked the Leader of the House very genuinely, how does he think that looks to the people who send us here?
Mr. Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Lady for reminding us what tomorrow was going to be about, because we didn't know, is the answer. We didn't know, and as a result, we might have known when it was, we might have known tomorrow, but we certainly didn't know today. It is the point, actually. It is the point that if you're setting something up which the Honourable Lady says is so important, why is it that no motion was actually put down in the tabled in order to set out what the debates would be? Because that is a denial. It's all right for their side to prepare for that, apparently, but it's not a good one. If that's the case, it's irrelevant. What I'm talking about, Mr. Speaker, what I'm talking about is a situation which is erupting once again in the Middle East, and I think people that are listening to this, Mr. Speaker, and watching, will do so with a degree of incredulity that the party opposite was preferring to go down a route of playing some weird political game while the Middle East is on the brink of conflagration.
We now come to the statement. Leader of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With permission, I'll make a short statement to provide an update on tomorrow's business. The business for tomorrow, Wednesday the 15th of July, will now be a general debate on Iran, followed by...
Sorry, Leader.
Sorry.
Do you want to leave now? I am not having that shouting like that again. Are you going to answer me? Right, OK, apology taken. Leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker, the House will rise for the summer recess at the conclusion of business on Thursday the 16th of July and return on Tuesday the 1st of September, and I will make a further business statement on Thursday.
Shadow Leader of the House, Jesse Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a total humiliation and embarrassment for the government. Yesterday, they published an emergency change to government business in order to ram the Hillsborough law through this House with no notice and an absolute minimum of scrutiny. Now they have backtracked again on their own business and cancelled the opposition day, which they themselves had scheduled. Now, why is that, Mr. Speaker? Let me read the motion that caused so much consternation in the Whip's office and in number 10, that this House calls on the government to bring forward a motion to change the date it adjourns to Monday, 20th of July, to enable the new Prime Minister to make a statement about his plans for government. In other words, the government changed the business. It refused even to delay the activity of this House by one day in order to permit the Prime Minister, as he will be, to take a statement and to answer questions as to his intentions and plans. The government has a majority of more than 150, Mr. Speaker, and it could not trust its MPs to vote the right way on that motion. And it could not bear the idea of a new Prime Minister facing any scrutiny before September. A Prime Minister, let me remind us all, who has been chosen by a coronation, not a contest, with no known platform, almost no known policies, and no idea of his priorities or indeed his cabinet team. They pushed us, Mr. Speaker, to take an opposition day tomorrow. They cannot bear the scrutiny, and now they're cancelling it. And to do so, hiding under the, I'm afraid, thoroughly distastefully, under the news, the very distressing news that's happening in Iran, when they could have framed a statement today from a minister or tomorrow on this issue, is, I think, completely disreputable. They're not even cancelling it, Mr. Speaker, for legislation. They could have kept the Representation of the People Act. They're cancelling it for a general debate with no votes. Mr. Speaker, it's the worst possible exit for a Prime Minister, the desperate attempt to create a legacy as though this could alter 2 solid years of failure. And it is the worst possible start for a new Prime Minister. People across this country will see what has happened, and they will conclude that this is a man who is frit, running scared of public scrutiny, before he can even take office.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I may introduce some facts into the situation. He reads out, Mr. Speaker, a motion which he tells us was to be tabled for tomorrow. I have to say it's the first I've heard of the words of a motion, because Mr. Speaker, no such motion was tabled for the opposition tomorrow. It was not tabled for tomorrow. We did not see the words of the motion. A decision was made on whether or not the House should debate an unfolding international crisis or not.
Today's Prime Minister's questions demonstrated just how quickly political tensions can spill beyond the main debate and into disputes over parliamentary conduct. The confrontation began when Kemi Badenoch sharply criticised Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson, describing her performance in office in highly critical terms while challenging the Prime Minister over education policy. Sir Keir Starmer responded by highlighting Bridget Phillipson's personal background and defending both her record and her journey into public life. The exchange quickly prompted loud reactions from MPs across the chamber. As emotions rose, Labour MP Tulip Siddiq raised a point of order, arguing that the language used was inappropriate and could discourage women from entering politics. The Deputy Speaker reminded all members that they are responsible for their own words and urged everyone to maintain good temper and moderation in accordance with parliamentary standards. A further point of order from Conservative MP Nick Timothy raised separate concerns about remarks directed at him, extending the debate over parliamentary language and accountability. These exchanges reflected competing views on robust political criticism and respectful conduct within the Commons. For many people watching at home, moments like these are about more than Westminster drama. They raise wider questions about how elected representatives should challenge one another while maintaining respect for Parliament and the public they serve. Voters expect passionate debate, but they also expect leaders to focus on the issues that affect families, schools, jobs, and the country's future. What do you think? Did today's exchanges go too far, or is this simply part of robust parliamentary democracy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy comprehensive coverage of the biggest Commons debates and PMQs, please like this video, subscribe to Britain Daily, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest political moments from Westminster.